I quit my job 1 year ago to pursue my passions of being a full-time content creator and music producer. And in this video, I want to talk about my journey, the ups and downs that I have gone through, and why I think you should be doing this as well. Now, if you don't know who I am, hi, my name is John. I also go by Elementality Studios, or Element, or just John is fine. I have been a musician for over 20 years now, which is insane to think about. I mainly play saxophone, piano, guitar, ukulele, and I sing a little bit too. I've also been music producing for a long time as well. Ever since I was a kid, I used a program called Anvil Studio, and I was always making music here and there, covers, originals, you know. But it wasn't until about a few years ago that I started taking music producing a lot more seriously. This video, by the way, is going to be very freeform, just me kind of rambling my thoughts. I have a couple bullet points set up, but not too many, so it's just going to be kind of freeform, thinking out loud and talking about my experiences, so bear with me on that. Music and gaming have always been two of my biggest passions in life, and in recent years when I've discovered Twitch back in 2020 after the pandemic, and seeing that people can live stream themselves, playing video games, creating music, utilizing their talents, and posting content, posting videos, reels, and stuff like that, and making that their full-time gig, I wanted to do that too. Now, I used to work for the United States Postal Service. I was a mail carrier. And originally, I used to like that job. I got to work outside, I got to meet new people, I got a lot of good exercises in. But I worked there for about 8 years, and the latter half of that time, I started to feel very depressed. I wasn't really happy with my life. I wasn't pursuing my passions as much as I had wanted to be. But back in December 2023, my body was giving me signals. Physically, mentally, emotionally. I was going through a rough time because I really wanted to be pursuing more music and my hobbies and passions, but I didn't know how to do it. By December of 2023, I had already been live streaming on Twitch for about a couple years now. I started in the pandemic around July or August of 2020. And I have a lot of fun doing it. I've built up a community. I've also been posting YouTube videos for a long time, and I've never been able to fully break out into what I wanted to be doing. But I started streaming in July of 2020, and since then, I had only grown to want streaming and content creation to be my full-time job over the years. I really enjoy doing it. I've built up a small community. I create a bunch of YouTube videos, and it never fully took off. But by December of 2023, I was starting to hit the lowest of lows. Physically, my body was very exhausted from the work that I was doing. Mentally and emotionally, I wasn't really happy with spending most of my time and most of my days working in a job that wasn't helping me progress in my talents as a musician or my passions as a live streamer, content creator, or gamer. So in 2024, I decided to go through a mind shift to try to learn new ways of how I can level up as a content creator. And it's tough, man. I gotta tell you, it is very, very tough. So I started looking up a bunch of different business YouTubers and gurus, streamers talking about how they made content creation their full-time gig, people like Ludwig, business gurus like Ali Abdaal or Alex Hormozi. And looking up videos like that helped me change perspective on how I should tackle being a content creator. The first biggest eye-opener for me was when I listened to Ali Abdaal talk about how to provide value to your audience. And that really sat with me because the content that I was posting before was a lot of funny, quirky music projects. I would take Pokemon cries and turn them into songs. I play games with my piano as my controller, so I posted a lot of clips of me beating Tears of the Kingdom, fighting various bosses in video games while utilizing my piano as my controller. But looking back on those videos, I realized that they don't really provide value to my audience. Yeah, some of them are just funny clips or funny moments, but I've learned over the years that most people don't really care about that kind of stuff. And it seems like that's something that a lot of people often get into within the gaming space, where they post funny clips on their streams and think that they're going to blow up like Ludwig or XQC or any of those other bigger streamers, right? And I started to think, what can I do differently to stand out from the crowd? Now, I thought the piano controller thing would help me out in that. It's very rare that you see people using alternate controllers. There is a niche of people who use alternate controllers to play video games, but it's still not a very well-known concept. And while I did get some comments and some interest in the fact that I was playing some of these games with my piano, it still wasn't really enough. And so I spent many months trying to figure out how can I combine music and gaming together in a creative way that people haven't done before. This is when I came up with something I call the letters to notes methodology. Basically, we take the musical notes A through G and we repeat the alphabet on top of those notes. And by putting the entire alphabet on the piano, we can now take any word or any name and spell them out and create melodies. And that was the beginning of me creating character jingles. You may have seen some of them, like Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Smash Bros., Mario Kart, Marvel Rivals. I've done a bunch of different ones. And eventually that translated into a business where I would spell out the usernames of other content creators and streamers and turn them into jingles and then making an entire song based around that melody. So I started getting more into audio branding and helping streamers grow and giving them this unique melody that spells out their name within the style that they want and not having to deal with muted VODs, copyright strikes, and other monetization issues. I had officially launched my business in May 29th of 2024. So I didn't quit my job just yet though. I spent the next few months reaching out to other friends and streamers and other clients to create music for their streams. And after I had seen some success from that, that's when I decided to go all in on full-time content creation and music producer. I quit my job August 9th of 2024, and I've been doing it since then. I remember the freedom and the relief that I felt when I first quit my job. I was like, oh my God, I have all this free time now. I can spend so much more time video editing and working on my creative ideas and creating theme songs for other content creators. And I can work whenever I want. I don't have a set schedule, so I can create music whenever I want. I can live stream whenever I want. And I had all this freedom, and I was like, this is great. I love this. But I quickly realized that that was not going to be efficient. Soon enough, I realized that not having a structured schedule was very, very bad, to put it simply. And I would say even to this day, I don't necessarily have a full structure of how my day should go, but it's a lot better than when I had first started out. I type up clear goals and objectives and videos that I want to make. I have a content calendar planned. I try to schedule things a lot better. And even just by having a loose structure, I'm able to get my work done while also still having fun doing the thing that I love doing. Now, in terms of finding clients, it wasn't always easy. There have certainly been months where I've had fewer clients, and there are some months where I've gotten a bunch of clients. And learning how to promote and market myself is also difficult. You don't want to come off as like too salesy, you know? But I've learned over time that in order for me to get myself out there, I have to promote my services. I have to showcase my talents through my content in some capacity. Otherwise, people won't ever discover what it is that I do. And that's still something I'm slowly building towards. I plan on doing a lot more content in the future where I talk about the music that I have created for other streamers, more of the concepts behind the letters to notes methodology, and having more talking videos like this to kind of connect with you guys a little bit more. And hopefully some of you guys can relate and be inspired by my journey. Now, I want to compare my channel analytics with you from last year to this year. Last year in August, I had only about 2,500 subscribers, and that's when I had quit my job. So I didn't really have that many subscribers going into this. But 1 year later, I just hit 32,000 subscribers a couple days ago. And that's mainly due to just posting videos consistently and finding a structure where I can post shorts daily. If you'd like to hear more about the process of that, I plan on making a video talking about how I'm able to produce content on a daily basis. But for now, all you need to understand is that because I was able to post consistently for over a year straight, that helped me grow my channel into what it is today. And then through that, I get people who commission me to make piano jingles for them, entire theme songs for their streams and content. And the best part is, I love doing it. I know a lot of people out there think that turning their hobbies and passions into a business would kill the enjoyment out of it. And that could be the case for some people. People will discover that it's not just about creating the thing you want to create. You have to script out your videos, you have to video edit if you don't have an editor yourself, you have to make YouTube thumbnails and come up with titles. And then sometimes videos may not work, so you have to think, how can I change the content so that it does work? It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. I've never actually done that before, by the way. Does anyone throw spaghetti at the wall? That's not something I've ever done before. But I always like the analogy of that. But I think that if you want to make your passions and hobby as a business and your full-time gig, you have to be hungry for it, starving for it even. If you're not dedicating as much of your free time as possible into the thing you love doing, then it's next to impossible to make it. And before I had started my business, that's kind of where I was at. I would make music here and there, and it's like, yeah, I really want to be like a full-time musician, full-time streamer, even though I was streaming a bunch and just taking clips from my streams and posting it on YouTube, it just wasn't enough. But by taking it more seriously and changing my mindset and trying to think about how I can provide value but entertainment at the same time while utilizing my creativity and skills as a musician, only then is when I was able to figure out a methodology that works for me, and it speaks for itself, honestly. The fact that I'm still able to do this a year later is awesome. I'm grateful that I'm in this position. That's not to say that I'm in like the best position, but this is the most that I have ever grown as a content creator. For example, just this past month in July, I made my first $1,000 on YouTube, just from views alone. And actually most of that is from shorts. Like, I honestly can't even believe that I've reached this point. If I talked to my past self from a couple years ago and told him that he was going to make $1,000 off of YouTube views, I don't think he would have believed me. So this video is very scatterbrained, so I hope I got my point across here. But if there's anything to take from this, just know that it is possible to make your passions and hobbies your full-time gig. And when it comes to quitting your job to actually pursue that full-time, I think it is doable, but of course you want to be cautious with not jumping the gun right away. Make sure you save up your finances, make sure you have enough funds off to the side before you make that plunge. Because in the event where it doesn't work out, hopefully you're able to at least sustain yourself for those months that you've been trying at it. And there's always the option of trying to find a part-time job. Even for me, if this ends up not working out moving forward, I can always just try to find another part-time job to sustain myself. But it is my ultimate goal to make this my full-time career for the rest of my life. And even if you're watching this video and you're not a musician or an artist or in the creative arts or a live streamer or a gamer, this still can apply to you. There's this channel that I've seen called SB Mowing, where he goes to people's houses who have these overgrown lawns and offers to mow them for free. And the catch is that he records himself while he mows those lawns, and he makes most of his revenue from content creation. Even if you're working a job as like a chef, I've seen videos on TikTok and YouTube of people just working their daily jobs and either live streaming themselves doing the process or at least recording videos of them cooking up eggs and cooking breakfast, and they just get a ton of views. It's honestly kind of wild. It's almost kind of like you can still work the job that you want to work and make some side income purely just by recording the thing that you're doing. But since I'm more involved in the gaming and live streaming and even musician aspects of the internet, the best advice I can give is take your talents and find a way to provide value to your audience. Think about how you can stand out and be more unique than all of the other gaming creators that are out there. And you can start by just leveling up your audio branding. If you're interested in supporting a creator like me, feel free to click the link in the description to commission me to make a theme song for your content. I can create any type of music that would fit your vibe, whether it's city pop or rock or spooky horror or jazz. And not only will I get the correct vibe for your content, but I just enjoy doing this. I love this. This is my passion. These are my dreams, you know? So if you're interested in working with me, feel free to click that link in the description. And if you want to see more of the creative process of how I make theme songs for other creators, click on this video right here and see how I made a city pop theme song for a content creator. Thanks for watching.